Today, I'm very delighted to share my MPHN thesis entitled Dietary Diversity and its Associated Factors Among Pregnant Women in Baglung Municipality, Baglung. So this is the outline of my presentation. So regarding the background of the study, as we know, pregnancy is the period of both opportunities and vulnerabilities. To take the advantage of the opportunities and to mitigate the vulnerabilities, one of the essential factors is diet, and dietary diversity is simply defined as the number of different food groups that is consumed over a reference period of time. So when we discuss more the number of food we consume, there is more probability that the nutritional requirements are fulfilled. So dietary diversity is also an essential element of diet quality, which signifies the micronutrient adequacy. But the problem is there is lacking in dietary diversity, especially monotonous diet with lack of adequate intake from micronutrient intake from animal source food, fruits and vegetables. And as per the Nepal National Micronutrient Status Survey 2016 also, about half of the women of reproductive age do not consume diverse diet as per the criteria. And this leads to micronutrient deficiency. And while talking about micronutrient deficiency, one of the most common deficiency is nutritional anemia, which is estimated to account for 2/3 of the pregnant women in developing countries. And also another rising problem is dietary calcium deficiency. So this maternal micronutrient deficiency leads to not only adversely affect the health of the mother, pregnant woman, but also the child growing within her. So for a positive pregnancy experience, dietary diversity is highly prioritized, and it has been realized by WHO and Nepal government, and it is also endorsed by international community and proposed for the indicator of diet quality in SDG framework. So the objective of the study is to determine dietary diversity and its associated factors among pregnant women at Baglung Municipality. So specific objectives are to assess dietary diversity and estimate nutrient intake by pregnant women, and to compare how these match the recommended dietary allowance values. Similarly, others are to identify socio-demographic, economic factors, household food security, knowledge on appropriate nutrition during pregnancy, food taboos, and their association with dietary diversity. Similarly, to assess pregnant women health-related information and measure the status of women empowerment level and their association with dietary diversity. So talking about the variables, dietary diversity is the dependent variable in the study. The participants who consume 5 or more than 5 food groups are considered to be diverse, consuming diverse diet, and those who are not consuming less than 5 food groups, they are considered to be not consuming the diverse diet out of the 10 food groups as shown in the figure. So these are the independent variables like socio-demographic and economic factors. Nutrient intake is assessed in terms of macronutrient, carbohydrate, protein, and fat, and micronutrient, calcium and iron, which is mainly found to be deficient in the demanding period like pregnancy. Similarly, food taboos, household food insecurity, and knowledge on appropriate nutrition during pregnancy, which is assessed in terms of knowledge on source of iron, calcium, salt iodization, iron supplementation, maternal and fetal complication related to maternal undernutrition, and it is further categorized as inadequate and adequate knowledge. So other variables are pregnant women health-related factors and women empowerment. And women empowerment is assessed in terms of involvement of the participant in household decision-making, membership in community group, cash earning, ownership of house or land, and education level. And they are categorized as low, moderate, and highly empowered. So moving on to the methodology of the study. Study design is descriptive cross-sectional study, and study type is the quantitative, and it was conducted in July 2018 to April 2019. So study site is Baglung Municipality, which is located in Baglung District, Province 4 of Nepal. So sample size was calculated to be 327, and simple random sampling was used out of 14 ward in the Baglung municipality. 5 were selected randomly. Then a sampling frame was created with the help of FCHP and ANC register. Then a random number table was created. Then the participants were selected randomly. So any participant with history of chronic disease like hypertension, diabetes, and HIV/AIDS were planned to be excluded from the study. So regarding the data collection technique, direct face-to-face interview and structured questionnaire was used. So regarding the tools, 24 hours dietary recall was used following the 5-stage multipass method. And for photo atlas that is validated in context of Nepal was used, that consists of 224 graduated discrete life-size portion images of 72 different foods with different portion size per item. So this is the figure of some commonly consumed food items from the photo atlas like rice, bhat, dal, and tarkari. So continuing the data collection tools, questionnaire for wealth quintile index and women empowerment was from NDHS questionnaire. Similarly, FAO knowledge attitude practice guideline manual was used for knowledge questionnaire, and household food insecurity access scale was used for assessing the household food insecurity level. So regarding the data analysis, data was entered in Epidata 3.1 version, analyzed in IBM SPSS, and for analyzing nutrient content, Diet Plan 7 software was used, and wealth quintile was constructed with the help of principal component analysis forming 5 categories, and chi-square test was done for bivariate analysis, and those variables that were found to be significant in bivariate at 5% level of significance were further entered for the multivariate analysis that include logistic regression analysis. So now moving on to the finding of the study. So the socio-demographic characteristics like age, about 12.2%, that is 40 out of 327 women were less than 20 years in the study, and majority of the participants were from upper caste. So about 1/4 of the participants belonged to nuclear family, and the rest were from joint or extended family, and majority of the participants were from male-headed household. Similarly, regarding the occupation of participant, majority of the participant were the housemaker, and the participant's husband, majority occupation was, they were engaged in foreign employment. So health-related factor, majority of the participants were primary, and majority were in their 3rd trimester. Regarding the food taboos during pregnancy, about 1/4, that is 28% of the pregnant women stated that they restricted food during their pregnancy, and among the restricted food, majority of the restricted food were jackfruit, papaya, honey, and others were like egg yolk, turmeric, and banana. So other variables like since Baglung falls under the minimally food insecure district, majority of the participants were from food secure household, and more than half, that is 54.4% of the participants did not have adequate knowledge regarding the appropriate nutrition during pregnancy, and majority of the participants belong to moderately empowered level. So regarding the dietary diversity, 44.5% of the participants did not meet the diversity criteria, and the mean dietary diversity score was 4.76. Regarding the dietary characteristics, consumption from starchy staples like grains, white, root, tubers was universal, and pulses was also consumed by majority of the participants, while the nuts and seed belong to the least consumed food group. And regarding the animal source food, there were less participants had consumed eggs and meat, poultry product, but milk and consumption from milk and milk products was high, maybe because there was a practice of consuming milk tea. And similarly, consumption of vitamin A-rich vegetables, fruits and vegetables was also found to be low. And regarding the nutrient intake, on average, average consumption of calorie was 1,745.8, which accounts only of 68% of the recommended dietary allowance value. And similarly, for protein, calcium, and iron, the recommended dietary allowance value was not met. Here I have used the Indian recommended dietary allowance value, as Nepal itself does not have its one. So, but for fat, surprisingly, it exceeds the recommended dietary allowance value, which may be due to the fact that data collection was done during the major festivals like Dasai and Tihar, although the effect was tried to be reduced by avoiding data collection before 1 week and after 1 week of the major festival, but it was found that there was practice of eating sel roti, jinia, which were highly fat-laden foods, so that may have influenced the result. So this is the multivariate analysis, where it is found. So in my study, those participants belonging from joint or extended family were found to be 2.08 times more likely to consume diverse diet than nuclear family. Similarly, those involving in paid earning, were found to be 4 times more likely to consume diverse diet than those from not paid earning. Similarly, for wealth quintile, those from the higher wealth quintile were likely to consume more diverse diet than those from the lowest wealth quintile. Similarly, the women who have adequate knowledge regarding the appropriate nutrition during pregnancy were 1.87 times more likely to consume diverse diet. Similarly, the women from highest women empowerment level were more likely to consume diverse diet than those from the low empowerment level. So concluding the study, dietary diversity of pregnant women in Baglung municipality is found to be low. And regarding the nutrient intake, all the nutrient intake like carbohydrate, protein, calcium, and iron were less than the recommended value, whereas the fat was exceeding the recommended value. And half of the pregnant women met the minimum criteria of dietary diversity. And since the food what we consume cannot be addressed by a single factor, so it must be, so to address low dietary diversity, multiple factors needs to be considered. And in my study, earning status of pregnant women, family type, wealth quintile, knowledge, and women empowerment level were found to be significantly associated with dietary diversity. Thank you. So finally, I want to acknowledge all the faculty members of Central Department of Public Health and Department of Community Medicine, especially Dr. Archana Amate and Assistant Professor Rajan Paudel sir for providing me help throughout the research process, and Dr. Amut Paudel for providing me help through the statistical analysis, Dr. Khem Bahadur Karki sir, and Suita Manohar for helping me to develop during the development of the concept of this research study, and Dr. Helen Harris Fry for providing me the photo atlas that was very handy during the data collection process. So thank you.